Hello, Moonbeams. Welcome back to Mystic Moon School. I am Donna Kass, and I am here to walk you through your week. And we are going to follow Mama Moon and the different signs that she is moving through this week, some of the aspects that she will be making to the inner and outer, the personal and the outer planets. And also, I'm going to be adding in this week and then going forward her phases and what that means for us and how it can affect our energy. And we have a lot to discuss this week. As you can see from the thumbnail here, we have the Lion's Gate is open. And if you don't know what that is, I will be discussing that. Chiron, the asteroid, the wounded healer, is now retrograde. And at the end of the week, on Sunday, we have the Leo new moon. And so this week is from July 28th, which is Sunday, to August 4th, which is Sunday. All right, so are you ready? Let's get into it. If you'd like to pause this video, so you can. If you haven't grabbed your notebook, if you want to take some notes for the week ahead, so you can kind of prepare yourself, setting some expectations for yourself for the week ahead in terms of your energy, what you may need to support yourself during the week, even, interactions with others, all of that good kind of stuff. If you want to grab a delicious cup of something, and we are going to get right into it. Okay, so I'd like to start off this podcast by actually just thanking you all. This has been something that I've known for a couple of years, probably 2 to 3 years, that I really needed to do, and I had a lot of fears around it, which I had to work through. I had to work through a lot of things within myself, and that's got to happen all in the right timing, right? And so I just want to thank you all for your time, for your energy, for your interactions, for your own vulnerability when you share in the comments. It means so much to me. I feel a real connection with you. I feel the connection energetically, but it is also nice to see the words when something resonates, or when you share synchronicities. That's always so magical. And it just also, helps me to feel connected to you all. So I just want to start this podcast with deep gratitude. And that is going to be something that I'm going to revisit when we get towards the end of the week, this energy of gratitude, with something from the Celtic wheel that I'm going to share when we get to August 1st. But I just wanted to start off with the gratitude, and just please know that it is from deep in my heart that I really appreciate all of you, and even giving me the time of day. So thank you so much. All right. So I want to start the podcast by pointing out that this week the moon is waning, and we are approaching on August 4th the Leo new moon. And I don't want to take anything for granted here. I want to really explain how this plays out for us energetically, for those of you out there who this may be new information. And the truth is, we are not raised to, whether it's in our families really, or certainly not in society, to understand the phases of nature so much, and particularly the moon. The moon is the feminine, and as we know, the feminine has been obscured for thousands of years, and more than just obscured, right? She's been denigrated, she's been demonized, she's been marginalized, she's been objectified, and all the things. And as we, as a collective, as humanity is healing collectively, as we are expanding and raising our consciousness, the feminine is growing and rising within each one of us. And whether you are a man or a woman, or you identify as male or female, we all have the feminine and the masculine energies within us. And so that these feminine energies, we are reconnecting to them within ourselves. And Mama Moon is a representation of our feminine side, our feminine energy. And so we are reconnecting with her energies, learning about her wisdom, learning about her phases, all the energies that she moves through in a month, right? She moves through the entire zodiac each and every month. And so this week, she is waning. And what does that mean? That means that her light is growing dimmer and dimmer. This is the final week before she goes completely dark in the sky. The new moon is invisible in the sky. We cannot see Mama Moon when she is in her new phase. And the new moon represents the new beginning of a new cycle. But that last week leading up to that new moon phase is really a wrapping up. It is a slowing down. There is releasing. There is surrender. There is a waning of our energy, a slowing down of our energy. And so she is losing her light each day of this week leading up to that new moon where we cannot see her at all. Now, interestingly enough, the day before the new moon is called the dark moon. And the dark moon has all sorts of meanings and connotations. And I don't like to just settle on one. I do like to explore the different facets of all of these phases and their myriad of meanings. And so if you are listening to this podcast on Sunday, the moon is waning. She is in the sign of Taurus, a grounded earth energy. And each day forward this week, she will be losing more and more of her light. She will be getting darker and darker in the sky until the end of the week. Saturday, she is in her dark moon phase, and then Sunday, she is in the new moon phase, which begins her new cycle. And we will get to all of that as we move through the week. But I just wanted to set this up for you because this week in general, you may be feeling less motivated to do work, to physically move your body. You may just want to rest more, physically rest more. You may feel mentally tired. And we will get into those mental energies in just a few moments when we move past the Taurus energies into Gemini. But overall this week, this is a waning of energy in general, okay? And so as Mama Moon is dimming her light, she is going within. She is becoming more introspective, quieter. She is focusing more on healing, focusing more on rest and really honoring if you feel that you need more rest this week, really honoring that. Whether that is because you're physically tired, mentally tired, emotionally, or all of the above, right? Really, please just trust that as the moon is waning and going within, you may feel the pull to do that as well. Okay, so that is the kind of backdrop, the backdrop energy of Mama Moon this week. Now, there are other big energies happening this week in the backdrop that I want to set the stage for this week. And the first of which that I want to talk about is that Chiron, the wounded healer, has gone retrograde now and will be retrograde for the next 5 months, right? So almost half the year. So certainly to the end of the year. And for those of you who are not familiar with Chiron, Chiron is the wounded healer. The wounded healer. And so it represents that childhood wounding that we all have, right? If you're a human being on this planet, you have some core wounding that most likely you experienced as a child. And typically this happens, I want to say the age range would be around 7, 8 years old till around 10, 11, 12 years old. Of course, it can be before or after that, but that's a pretty good range for most of us, that we have experienced something where it was some level of trauma, and trauma is different for everyone. And what I mean by that is what is a traumatic experience for one person would not necessarily be a traumatic experience for another. And I'd like to share something with you all that in my own life, when my parents were separating and getting divorced, I was around 10 years old. And then around the time I was about 12, almost 13, my dad he left. He moved to another state, very far away. And what I come to realize over the years doing the inner work is that it wasn't so much the geographical move. It was the abandonment that I felt, that I internalized, was the emotional, right? That when he left me and our connection. But similarly, I have a sister, and she did not internalize that in the same way, right? And so, we experienced the same situation in terms of our father was leaving, but she did not internalize that abandonment, whereas I did. And so that was my wounding. Now, maybe you can relate to something like this. Our wounding can be anything. It doesn't have to be from your parents, although oftentimes it is. And it's not to say that my father tried to wound me, right? That he was deliberately abandoning me. He was dealing with his own emotional issues. And, I've been able to come to a place finally in my life where I can see that and I can have compassion for him and forgiveness. But it's been a lifelong journey, and that is my Chiron. That is my Chiron. But the most beautiful thing happens when we become self-aware of what our wounding, our deepest wounds are. And we begin to work with it, bring it out of the shadow, out of the unconsciousness. Then we can start to heal it within. And sometimes it really does take a whole lifetime to do that. But remember, healing is a spiral. And so when we first encounter this, it can be very painful, yes. When we first bring it into the light and we're working with it consciously, it can feel very painful. But as we work through it, the pain, the emotional pain lessens, the triggers lessen in terms of their impact on us, and we move through those times much quicker because we understand that this is about coming back to self. And when we learn how to do that, it's very fulfilling. It's very rewarding. And we learn how to fill up our own cup emotionally, spiritually, physically, whatever it may be. Some of us have the wounded healer in very physical ways, right? With our body. Some of us have it mentally. And whatever it is for you, just know that you are not alone. We all have this to work with. At a soul's level, we chose this. We chose this as our path towards growth and healing. And then the most miraculous thing begins to happen as you begin to heal it within yourself, the healing part, right? Then you become an energy of healing for others. Now, that can simply be that when you begin to heal within yourself, you start to shift your vibration and you show up differently to everyone around you from a more healed place. And so your dynamics with others become more healed, more healthy, right? And it could also be, as we are seeing so much now on the planet, that many of us are moving into roles as active healers. And whether that is you decide to become a nurse or a mental health counselor or a Reiki master or a sound healer or a hypnotherapist or an acupuncturist or a physical therapist, right? Like, you get what I'm saying here. There are so many ways that we can move into the energy of helping others, I don't like to say healing others, but I do like to say supporting others in their healing, right? We're the helpers. I don't know how many of you are of my generation. Actually, my birthday is this week, guys. My birthday is August 3rd. And so I don't know how many of you are of my generation, but I grew up with Mr. Rogers on TV. And Mr. Rogers, oh my goodness, what a light, what a healer. Mr. Rogers was a healer. His energy was just so loving and kind and compassionate, and he was a teacher to us all. And one of the things that he would say is, look for the helpers. Look for the helpers all around you. And, really, they are all around us. If we will just open our eyes, open our hearts, and look for them. They're all around. My mailman every day, his name is Brian, especially in these warmer months where I live, I have my front windows open, and one of my cats, Bailey, loves to be in the window. And every day when Brian, the mailman, comes to deliver the mail, he stops over and comes close to the window and talks to Bailey. And, that he's one of the helpers. And, right, what I mean is and what Mr. Rogers meant is those loving people, those kind, loving people, they're all around us. And so it's not to say that those people don't have wounding, that they haven't worked through anything tough. Of course they have, right? We all have. But the more that you heal yourself, the more that you can show up in the world in a loving, kind way, and a patient way, and a compassionate way. So look for the healers, look for the helpers. So that was a very long introduction. I hope it has meaning for you, though, and I hope it resonates about Chiron. And this week, Chiron, this is the first week now, for the rest of the year that Chiron has gone retrograde. So now, whenever the planets go retrograde, we want to think about the RE words. Okay, so it's reconnect, reflect, receive, what are some other words? Rest, release. We could go on and on with the RE words, but I think you get the picture, right? It's about going within. It's not about pushing the energy outwardly. It's about reflecting and being introspective and going within with these energies. But I want to share with you this first week when Chiron is going retrograde, and we are being asked to reflect inward. Venus, the planet of love, the planet of self-love, is trining that super harmonious, easy flowing energy, trining Chiron in this first week of his retrograde. And I find this to be so incredibly supportive, kind, compassionate, loving energy. So this is really beautiful. This is one of the other backdrops of the energy this week. So you may be remembering, that's another RE word, right? Remembering times in your life of your wounding, of feeling hurt, of some painful situations, but with Venus here supporting Chiron going into its reflective stage. Oh, there's just so much love here, guys. There's so much kindness and patience and compassion. I think of that beautiful passage from Corinthians that love is patient and love is kind. That is the energy here. Love is patient and love is kind. That we can remember now. We can reflect on those painful times, and we can have forgiveness. We can have compassion for all of those involved, of course, for ourselves first and foremost. But maybe now we can reach a level of healing where we can also have compassion for the ones who have hurt us. Maybe not on purpose, but nonetheless, they have hurt us. And we can have understanding now that they are wounded, that they were wounded when they hurt us, right? What is that expression that hurt people, right? That when you are unhealed, you really are bleeding out your wounds on everyone around you. And so perhaps this first week of Venus trining Chiron, the whole week, really, we can really tap into and set the intention for forgiveness and compassion. Because what I will tell you is that when you can reach that level, you are healing yourself profoundly. Forgiveness is not a one-time thing. It is a process. And you may be coming to forgiveness for the first time this week for someone or for a situation in your life. And you may be able to even see for the first time how this actually was not a rejection, but a redirection. That this was, if this felt like abandonment, that this was actually setting into motion a journey for you to come home to yourself, to never abandon yourself, right? Ultimately, that is what I learned with my abandonment wound, that because I felt that from my father at a young age, I then behaved and made choices all throughout my life where I abandoned myself. And once I got to a certain level in my awareness and my healing, it's not to say that I don't ever have that tendency, but I recognize it when it's showing up and I make a different choice and I choose myself. And that feels whole. That is healing. So I really hope that you are able to set the intentions this week, tap into that supportive energy that Venus is giving to Chiron, that you can tap into compassion, understanding, patience, forgiveness for yourself and others. Let's see. What else do I want to say about this week? We are going to discuss that Mercury is going to officially go retrograde at the end of the week on Sunday, but Mercury has been in its shadow period. And so I don't know about you guys, but first of all, Mercury is begun its retrograde shadow period in Virgo. And so, Mercury actually, Mercury is a co-ruler of Virgo. Chiron is the other ruler of Virgo. And the way I teach Virgo, and as if you've been listening to me for a little bit, you know that I teach an entire spectrum of energies for each and every sign. And the highest expression of Virgo is that she is the healer. And so it makes sense that her modern co-ruler is Chiron, the wounded healer. But to come back to Mercury going retrograde, Mercury in Virgo is really, when Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo, boy, oh boy, do we really see it showing up in the very kind of typical, right, stereotypical ways. The technology and the travel and the communications, right? All of that is no longer organized and running smoothly the way Virgo would like it to be, right? In fact, it can be a little chaotic, a little disjointed, unorganized, not running on time, not being punctual, right? All of those things that Virgo doesn't make Virgo happy. But remember, Mercury going retrograde is also a time, really truly a time for us to tap into those RE words: reflect, reconnect, revisit, review, receive, all of the mental energies, right? The thinking about things on a deeper level, really reflecting. And you know what? I really believe that the real true reason for our technology going wonky and our planes getting delayed and, our everything that we rely on to happen in a moment, in an instant, slows down, is to actually prompt us to slow down, to reflect, to take a breath, to think a little bit deeper about things. Stop running, going the way we are so used to, and just take a breath and take a step back. Retrograde ourselves, right? Let's retrograde ourselves during Mercury retrograde. That's really truly what it is asking of us. Retrograde our mind, retrograde our thoughts, retrograde the beliefs and the limiting beliefs, especially. Retrograde those, roll those back and take a closer look at them. And that is what this Mercury retrograde moving through Virgo, and then towards the end of August will be in Leo. And I'll talk about that when we get there. But just to give you the heads up that it is traversing through both Virgo and Leo this year. Or not this year, but at this time. So these are the main background energies that are setting up our whole week. Okay. And, these are all pretty big. These are all pretty big energies. The waning moon, Venus trining Chiron, Chiron being direct this first week being retrograde, and then Mercury really moving through the shadow and then officially going retrograde at the end of the week on Sunday. The end of my podcast week, of course, I mean. So there's a lot here. And I'm going to talk about the Lion's Gate now, because on July 26th, there's some variance, July 26th, 28th, but suffice it to say, the Lion's Gate is open, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And this is an extraordinary energy that is also at play here in the background this week, leading up to the peak of the Lion's Gate, which happens on not this week, but the following Thursday, August 8th, the 8/8 peak, or some people call it a portal. And so next week I will be going into those energies a little bit more specifically for the 8/8 portal, but we'll have different energies next week with Mama Moon that I will discuss. But the gate is open. The Lion's Gate is officially open, and so we are already beginning to receive these gorgeous energies. And I'm going to start off talking about this, and then I'm going to move into Mama Moon and how she's moving through the signs. Okay, and I'm going to try to tie this to the Lion's Gate energies of receiving. So what is the Lion's Gate? So in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in the summer season. And in Leo season specifically, and really in August specifically, which let's see, Thursday is August 1st, okay? So we are experiencing, yes, the sun is in Leo. That's the first of this, right? But we also have the star, the brightest star in our sky, Sirius, that is part of the constellation of Canis Major, the dog, that also holds Sirius as the dog's nose. In many cultures, they see this constellation as a dog, and it is the dog's nose that is the brightest star. And our sun is moving into alignment with Sirius. But also we have Orion's belt, the 3 stars in a line, and the Earth all come into alignment in our sky. And so this is, and when it's in an exact alignment, that's on 8/8. That is the peak, and it is the 8/8 portal, where all of the spiritual knowledge, wisdom, light codes coming from Sirius, which many consider to be our spiritual sun, beaming down to our sun which is in the sign of Leo. Leo is the playful inner child, the creativity, the love, the brave-hearted leader, right? Beaming all of this spiritual knowledge, these light codes, this expansion coming from Sirius, shining right down to our sun, down to us here on Earth. This goes back, to, I believe, the ancient Egyptians, when, Sirius was so bright in the sky. I often like to imagine living in a time where we had no electricity, because to imagine what the night sky looked like, how bright the stars must have been, it just must have been really just something else. And so the ancient Egyptians referred to Sirius as the goddess Sopdet. Some believe it was Isis. But in any event, this was the time of year where the Nile would flood. And this was so important to their survival, because if they had drought and the Nile did not flood, then all of their fields, the crops that whatever they were growing, would not receive the water that it needed for its abundance. But oftentimes, at this time when Sirius was so bright in the sky, it was flood season for the Nile, and they were so deeply grateful for that. And so this abundance, right, it has been the connotation of this rising of Sirius, our spiritual sun. And so we are open to receiving the spiritual abundance that Sirius wants to shower down on us, right as it aligns with our sun and down to earth. And so it is just this magnificent energy where we can expand our consciousness. One of the things that I love to do during this time is sun salutations, and I specifically do it a few every day during this time period. If I can do it outside, I will, facing the sun, in my small yard. But on the 8/8 portal, I try to do some number of 8, right? Whether that's 8, 18, 28, however much energy I have that day, of sun salutations. And actually, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the sun salutation, it actually has 8 different poses in it. And I'm going to have to look that up now, because I don't know if that's accurate. So forgive me if I'm incorrect on that. But I like to do the sun salutations on the 8/8 portal, and really think of that, the name, the sun salutation. I am saluting the sun. I am in such reverence and gratitude and appreciation of the sun, and I open up my whole heart and my crown chakra to receiving whatever it is that my higher self is ready to expand into now. And I will tell you that for the several years that I've been aware of the Lionsgate portal, and I have been really setting intentions around it, my I absolutely get major downloads. Those epiphanies just come flooding in like the Nile, right? They come flooding in, and it is magical. It is magnificent. And so this energy is here for us now. This week, the Lion's Gate has opened, and it will be opening, if you can picture it as a gate, right? A gate where It's like a golden gate. That's how I picture it in the sky. And it's opening wider and wider as Sirius is beaming down its divine knowledge, its divine wisdom, and its divine love down to us through our sun. And as our sun comes into more perfect alignment, as Sirius is rising in our sky, it is getting stronger for us. And so we are building right here on earth in our own little human minds to look at things differently, to be able to release limiting beliefs, to make connections. And it is no coincidence that we are having a Mercury retrograde during this Lionsgate. I believe that we are going to have incredible reflections, make monumental shifts in how we think and what we believe and what we are willing to believe and what we are no longer willing to believe. There's no coincidence ever, guys, right? We know this. It is all divinely orchestrated. And so I think this is going to be a super powerful Lionsgate for us, and particularly on August 8th, that peak and that perfect alignment is going to be extremely powerful. I will be holding a celebration and a women's circle on 8/8, and so I invite you to, wherever you are, look for something where you are locally and see if you can be a part of that, because when you join with other like-minded, like energy and like-hearted people on a powerful, energetic and spiritual day like this, oh boy, do we send a ripple effect out into the world, out throughout the planet. So really, truly, yes, if you want to do your sun salutations on that day and salute the sun, but if you can join with others who also want to be a part of this beautiful, abundant energy, I encourage you to do that. And who knows, maybe you'll meet some of your soul tribe, if that is your intention. So this is some incredible energy this week, huh? I didn't lie. So starting off the week, Mama Moon is in the grounded earth sign of Taurus. And, this Taurus energy is Taurus is very sensual. And what I mean by that is the five senses, very grounded, down to earth, loves a good meal, wants the meal to look pretty as well as taste delicious. Taurus loves beautiful, harmonious music, wants to wear soft clothing, all of the senses. So on Sunday and Monday, maybe you want to be aware of that. Maybe you want to create something, be in a garden where you can smell the beautiful scents, right? Cook up a delicious, healthy, grounded meal, maybe with some vegetables. Maybe if you're a gardener, if you've grown, that would be a wonderful way to tap into this moon in Taurus energy. What we want to be aware of, some of the lower expressions of Taurus are, being passive, like really super passive, to the point where you are allowing yourself to be steamrolled, right? Or it could be that stubbornness where you dig your heels in something and it's maybe not even serving you in the best way. So those are just some of the lower expressions of Taurus that we want to be aware of. And I'm not saying that we want to judge ourselves if we're feeling that, but we want to stop. We want to have awareness around it, and then we want to ask why. Why am I being passive in this way? Why am I being stubborn in this way? or perhaps inflexible. What is at the root of that? Is there fear there? And if so, what is that fear all about for me? Okay. But if you can tap into some of that more beautiful, sensual Taurus energy, definitely try to experience some of that on Sunday and Monday. Now, Monday evening, the moon will move into Gemini, and then Mama Moon will be in Gemini for Tuesday and Wednesday. And so that's a very different energy, right? Moving from grounded earth into air. So very much in our bodies with that Taurus energy, the five senses, more, being grounded. And then when the moon moves into Gemini air, then all of a sudden it's mental energy. Gemini is all about learning and the way we think and our beliefs, our everyday beliefs, our beliefs about ourselves, our beliefs about are tied to our values even. And it's our communication of all kinds. It's not just the spoken communication with others, but it is how we talk to ourselves, that inner voice of how we are speaking to ourselves. And that, I'm a Capricorn moon, and that is something that I have been working on for a really long time. My inner voice, how I speak to myself, the words that I use, the tone, the energy. Do I shame myself? Do I guilt myself? Do I use harsh words towards myself? And so Gemini, right, can be that inner voice as well. And so this would be something great while Mercury is in shadow, moving towards that retrograde, when Venus is supporting Chiron in our healing, our being reflective and going within. Let's take a look at how do we speak to ourselves. When Mama Moon is in Gemini on Tuesday and Wednesday. And ask ourselves, well, do I speak to my friends like this? Do I speak to my family or people that I work with like this? And if not, then why do I speak to myself this way, right? And maybe set the intention that, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore, because on Tuesday, the moon in Gemini is in a beautiful trine with the south node in Libra, another air sign. And so Libra is all about relationships. But what is our first relationship? Our relationship with self, right? And so the moon in Gemini on Tuesday specifically is going to be conjunct Jupiter. And Jupiter is the planet of blessings and expansion. And if you set the intention to look at your beliefs, the way you think about certain things in your life, and the way you speak to yourself and maybe others, how you communicate with others, because that might be something important to you, right? That you want to be able to communicate in a more effective way, in a more truthful way, because all of the air signs are also about truth. Okay, Gemini and Libra, they also seek truth. I mean, I think all of the signs seek truth in its highest expression, but in different ways. And so the air signs seek truth through clarity, right? Cutting through confusion, cutting through illusions. If you know the tarot at all, you know that the swords are the air energy, and the swords cut through any sort of murkiness or confusion or illusions. And they cut through with the truth and with clarity. And isn't it incredible when you get clarity on something? Oh, what a fantastic feeling that is. So I would say, especially on Tuesday, that's going to be expanded. When the moon is conjunct Jupiter, we're really going to, I think we're really going to be very clear on what we are ready to let go of now, whether it is in a relationship with another, maybe perhaps it's a dynamic of communicating with another or with others that you're just done with. And we're ready to release because of that south node. And it's really going to bring beautiful blessings. Jupiter brings the blessings. So really think about some of these things on Tuesday and Wednesday and how this may resonate for you. Set some intentions around that. Because on Wednesday, the moon is going to be sextiling Venus, which is a beautiful, harmonious aspect. And it's really an aspect of, making some decisions and taking some action. And so I feel that is some loving communication. Venus, the love, the compassion, the kindness, maybe even the nurturing coming through with Venus and the moon. And so that's going to be really, with the moon still in Gemini, it's going to be all about, this kind communication, both with self and others. So now on Thursday, August 1st, we have a lot of really big energy, okay? Because first of all, the moon moves into the sign of Cancer. The moon is at home in Cancer. That is the moon's home sign. Cancer represents the home, literally the home that you live in. It also represents the home within yourself. The moon also and Cancer represent the mother, your mother, and the mother within you, how you mother yourself, how you mother others, how you nurture yourself, how you nurture others. And so the moon and Cancer both also represent memory. And so on this day, not only is the moon in Cancer, which can feel quite emotional, right? Cancer, the water sign, all about the emotions. But the moon in Cancer is going to be squaring the nodes on this day. And a square, as I often talk about, is, yes, it is an aspect of tension, but it often is propelling us into action. That's the whole reason for the square. That is the whole reason for the tension, maybe the uncomfortableness, because we need that, don't we? Sometimes we need a little kick in the pants to be like, you know what? I need to make a change, right? It's just the human way, I think. And so this could be a very big feeling day for you on August 1st. And the moon is also actually making a very supportive sextile to Mercury before Mercury goes retro, okay? And so you may be really deep in reflection. You may be really deep in remembering and having realizations about experiences and people in your life from the past. There may be a nostalgia here. But this is a turning point. Whenever the nodes are involved, and in this case, a square with the nodes, remember the south node is all about releasing, you're done with this, and the north node about where you are moving forward on your destined path ahead. And so with the moon in Cancer and this supportive aspect from Mercury, we are making a shift. We are letting go of stuff so we can move forward, really and truly. And I feel that even if you are feeling emotional on this day, this is a beautiful purging. That's the South Node. I would love for us all to shift how we understand those emotional days, that they are not bad. They are in fact cleansing. And they are so beautiful and such a release. And when we really fully lean into it and allow it, it is so cathartic. And we are lighter for letting that go, for crying it out, for feeling the feelings. And then we're opening up to being able to move forward. So that could really truly be a turning point on August 1st for you, both mentally and emotionally. Because with that sextile to Mercury, who is very, very close at this point on Thursday to going retrograde, that's our mental energy. And then, of course, the moon in Cancer is our emotional energy. And the sun on that day is sextiling Mars, and Mars is trining the South Node. And so sun, the self, in a beautiful action-oriented energy with Mars that wants us to take action. And then Mars is in a beautiful, harmonious energy as well to the South Node of letting go. Your new sense of self is ready to be done with X, Y, and Z so that you can move forward on your path ahead. This is really quite extraordinary on August 1st to start off the August month. And then there's something else I wanted to share with you that you may or may not be aware of on August 1st. This is a special day. If you follow the Celtic wheel of the year, you know this is the day called Lunasa. And this is a Celtic traditional day where it is the midpoint between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. And this is a day, historically, when we were a more agricultural people, that it would be our first harvest where we go out into the fields and there is a ripeness, there is an abundance, and it is time to harvest the fruits of our labor since spring. And there is so much appreciation and gratitude and thanksgiving on this day of our first harvest. And while we in our modern times are not so connected anymore to actually growing our own food, although some of us are in varying degrees, I would love to extend this energy beyond just the physical food. And remember, I started this podcast with having deep gratitude for all of you who tune in and listen and connect with me both energetically and through the comments. But I would like to extend this Lunasa energy to taking a moment on August 1st and opening up to the Lionsgate energy, opening up to the moon in Cancer, really being open to receiving all of the abundance of this first harvest and really dropping into your heart space with gratitude and appreciation for everything in your life. Everything. And when I say everything, I mean all of it. All of the challenges, all of the hardship, all of the beauty, all of the love, all of the kindness, all of the little things. That cup of tea or coffee first thing in the morning. How about our first breath when we wake up in the morning? Having gratitude for having another day on this planet, in this life, to experience all the beauty all around us. As I am speaking to you now, I'm looking out my window and I'm seeing this adorable little squirrel in my backyard. And he's just kind of sitting there. It looks like maybe he has something that he's eating. And I'm so grateful for this little guy because he's just adorable. And he chose my yard, right, to feel comfortable and peaceful in. And I get to just look upon his adorableness, right? If you set the intention for gratitude and you look for things during your day to be grateful for, if you look for the beauty all around you, you will find it. And not only will you find it, you will expand your heart and you will expand in this energy of abundance and gratitude, and you will call more and more things into your life to feel grateful for. So if you have been having a tough time, let's drop that. Let's drop that heavy weight and let it go and commit to gratitude. Commit to finding everything and anything that you can be grateful for. And not only will it shift you immediately in how you're feeling, but you're going to start to shift your vibration. And more things are going to come into your life. Not just little things, not just the beautiful butterfly flying right in front of you, right? But the job, the friend, the romance, the health, all of the things, they're going to start to flow in, just like the Nile floods, bringing abundance to the fields. Gratitude is our Nile. Gratitude is our Nile. So, but we must start. It must start within us first. The moon is going to remain in Cancer on Friday. And so really, whatever you're feeling on Friday, just lean into it more. Continue to tap into that gratitude, because on Saturday, the moon moves into Leo. Leo is that beautiful, open-hearted, brave leadership, that playfulness, the creativity, the love, the generosity, the magnetism. So now we have the moon in Leo on Saturday, and as we know, the sun has already been in Leo. It's Leo season. And actually Saturday is my birthday, so I will be, super, super deep in my gratitude practice, just trying to soak up all of the love and the beauty all around me. And I just really feel this is going to be a super empowering day, because remember, Pluto is at 0 degrees of Aquarius right across the sky from Leo. And so when the moon moves into Leo at 0 degrees, she is directly across the sky from Pluto in Aquarius. And I am going to lean into the empowerment of that energy. And the moon is moving closer and closer to the sun, so that on Sunday, we have that new moon in Leo. And this really, truly is a new moon for a new you. Leo is very much a self-oriented sign. In its lower expressions, it can be like, the all about me show, right? A little self-absorbed, self-involved. But in the highest expressions, it's a healthy self-confidence. It's a healthy sense of self, good self-esteem, which lends itself to being a leader in one's own life, right? And then perhaps even a leader to others, maybe just by being a leader in your own life, or by actively being a leader in groups or communities or whatever it may be. But on Sunday, this new moon in Leo, this is a beautiful new moon. It really is. It's being so beautifully aspected. It's, first of all, this new moon, the sun and the moon in Leo together are trining the North Node. As I speak of, trines are that beautiful, harmonious energy. The North Node is our destined path ahead. And so when we step into this Leo energy of a healthy sense of self, trining that North Node, oh boy, we are ready to take those steps ahead on our destined path forward. And get this, the sun and the moon together in Leo are making a gorgeous sextile to Mars and Jupiter. Mars, we're ready to take the action. We're feeling assertive. We're feeling energized. And Jupiter, the planet of blessings, the planet of expansion. I mean, this truly is a new moon for you to step into this new sense of self where you are the leader in your life. You are leading yourself from a place of love, healthy self-confidence and self-esteem. Look at how far you have come. Look at all that you have overcome. Take a moment to honor your resiliency, all the healing that you have been doing. Drop into that gratitude to yourself, to your higher self for guiding you all this way. And tell your higher self at this new moon, I am ready to follow you. I am ready to let you guide me. I am ready to open up to the Lionsgate energies of expanding my consciousness to allow this to lead me forward, this new level. It's not just the way we think and letting go of those limiting beliefs. That is a huge part of it, yes, but what's really happening here is that we're expanding our consciousness. And when we do that, we can only do that when we are letting go of the fears, right? Fears will keep us stuck in a more closed off consciousness. So we're letting go of those fears, right? We're tapping into the gratitude this week, especially, on August 1st with Lunasa, opening up to the abundance of the Lionsgate, the spiritual abundance that is being poured down to us. I mean, I can't really express to you guys how beautiful I feel this is. And that if you could just open up to receiving this gorgeous energy, you are so deserving of it. You are ready for it. You have done enough healing. Now tap into the higher vibrations. Be in gratitude and appreciation. Have forgiveness for all of it. Really, truly know that you are worthy of expansion, of abundance, of love, of creativity. Perhaps you are opening up to extraordinary new creative projects. Maybe you've been wanting to learn watercolor painting, or maybe you want to, I don't know, it really could be anything. It could be a cooking class, right? It could be learning to crochet, like it could be gardening, like whatever it is for you. Creativity knows no bounds. So open up to the creativity as well, because creativity is one of the highest vibrations. For any of you out there listening, if you ever decided to sit down and allow that creativity to flow through you, that is spirit. That is your higher self. You know this. And it is such a high vibration. So overall, I feel that this is really a beautiful week. If you have listened to the end of this podcast, I want to thank you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart that even though the moon is waning this week, we are really being given the opportunity to slow down, to reflect, to go within, and to open up our hearts, open up our minds, open up that heart chakra and that crown chakra. That little squirrel is literally playing by himself in the grass right now. Like, it is so freaking cute. Just as I'm saying, right, to open up our hearts. Be playful. Have some fun. I'm wishing you all such a beautiful week, a gorgeous new moon in Leo. You are ready, my beautiful, beautiful moonbeams. You are ready for your next level. Let go of all that does not serve you. Tap into your highest vibrations. Open up your heart to receive it all. You are so worthy. And I love you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here and sharing your energy with me, being vulnerable, sharing your comments. I feel such a connection to you. And I will see you soon under the moon. Love you all. Bye-bye for now.